everyone, this is Wolven Sister and welcome back to another little walkthrough video here. This one is a kind of a longer video of a tutorial I did a couple weeks ago about cell shading. I'll put a link somewhere in the video and also in the description below if you want to take a look at it. I basically go into detail about how I cell shade and, you know, the methods I use, and it can kind of work for really any program, and you can even cell shade. I don't know if it's called cell shading, but I mean, you can even cell shade traditionally too. It's more of like a cartoony look, I guess, but I go into it in that video and explain, you know, how everything works and everything, and how I kind of get this picture done. But this is just a quick little walkthrough of the idea behind this picture, and you know, pointing out some other things that I did that I didn't mention in the tutorial. So yeah, I mean, this is a drawing off of Essence. She is the big bad villain in my comic series, my published comic series, Moonlit Dawn: A Mythical Tale. It is published by Insane Comics, and yeah, as mentioned before, she's the big baddie. And basically her goal is to destroy the Fates with her army of beastmen. And beastmen are basically my term for werewolves, but they're not like your traditional werewolves. They're I kind of put my own spin on them, and they're introduced in the third book, technically second if you don't count the prologue, but anyway. In this picture, she has one of the beastmen coming out of her back, and it's sort of like a symbolic picture because I don't want to give any spoilers away, but the beastmen are part of her. I'll give you that much. I won't give you any more. But they're part of her, and so I wanted a picture. I mean, I had various concepts in my head, and some of them I might do down the road later when I have more free time. But this one kind of popped into my head of one of the beastmen coming out of her back and just snarling or roaring, and, you know, she's puking up blood as like a result of it because, you know, it's symbolic, whatnot. If you read the comic series, I guess it doesn't really make that much sense in the comic series, at least not right now. It explains everything, like how she became evil and how the beastmen were created and everything in chapter 4, which should be released sometime this month in September. So it explains, you know, all that backstory stuff and all that fun stuff. But I mean, I have a few pictures of Essence, but I wanted something. It's basically like her smiling evilly and stuff, and I wanted something that was threatening in like a way. And the beastmen are threatening, like they don't have any control over themselves. Kind of, they do Essence's bidding. There's one beastman that we're gonna kind of focus on. He kind of has a mind of his own, but I'm getting into spoiler territory, so I don't want to go any further about that. So, I mean, this picture was a lot of fun, and as you can see, I'm just sort of going crazy with the layers, and I'm really going detailed with the cell shading, because that's just what I do. I do very detailed cell shading, and I kind of go crazy with it. When I'm in the zone, when I'm in the art zone, I just go nuts, and I add in way too much detail than I should. I'm working on several comics, and I've had to tone back the detail, which is like so difficult because I'm so used to adding in so much detail that when I have to tone back on detail, it's like alien to me. But it's fun either way. So, I mean, since this is my own series, you know, I can kind of go nuts with the promotional art as much as I want to. So I add in a lot of different layers, and I, you know, make the opacity darker and darker each time I make a new layer and everything. And then, and the Beastman, I don't know if you can kind of see, but he kind of has like goop coming out of like dripping off like his arms and stuff, and I kind of wish I did it with like his body too, because you'll see later on in the video that like his body's just sort of attached to her, and I kind of wish I kind of made it more ooze-like, like I did with his arm, but it's too late, so what are you gonna do? But let's see, Essence, that's her name is Essence. She's been a character from the very beginning, when I created Moonlit Dawn way back in 2009. Oh god, so long ago. And she's always been the big baddie. Well, I guess not always. In the very beginning, she was gonna be a good guy, but I decided to change it to her being a big baddie, because I do that a lot. I change my mind a lot when I'm making series and artwork for that matter. And her motivations are a bit unclear up until chapter 4. Again, that's the release. That's the issue that's gonna be released this month here in September. So all of her motivations get explained a little bit, but more of her motivations get explained later in the series. Cause like I don't want to spoon feed you guys. I mean, it annoys me when I watch a movie or when I read a comic book or when I read a book and they just spoon feed me everything. I like something that leads me on and, you know, keeps me turning the page because I want to know the answers. If I have all the answers in one page or in just a few pages, then what's the point of reading the rest? So you gotta keep, I mean, I try, I don't know if I do it very well, but I try and keep some elements of mystery just to keep everyone guessing, like, you know, what's going on exactly. So I try to show first, then tell, which I may not do perfectly every time because, you know, I'm always learning something new and I'm always making mistakes because that's just how life is. I'm human, I make mistakes. and I try to learn from them as best as I can. But, you know, I mean, I try and keep that mystery element in the story and explain things, like by the end of the series, I will try and have every answer questioned. I mean, every question answered. Ooh. I will try and have every question answered by the end of the series. So, like, her full motivations, like, every single reason why she does the things she does, it will be explained. Same thing with the whole Beastmen, same thing with one of the Beastmen I want you to keep an eye on. and the main characters, you know, Joker and Mischief, the two brothers who are the main characters. So yeah, here I kind of have the glow of the red on the Beastman because I wanted to make him a little bit, red is known as like an evil color, so I wanted the color to really contrast. So I have the green there to kind of complement Essence's colors because she's green and yellow, and the Beastman, he has red eyes. Beastmen have red eyes when they're first created, and they stand on upright legs. This isn't spoiler, this is just a fact in the story, so don't worry, I'm not giving anything away. Beastmen, they stand upright on two legs and they have red eyes, and then like sometime later they transform onto four legs, and it's sort of like they just naturally morph into four legs, so they just look like big giant freaking huge wolves. And then they get their natural colors, and then their eyes turn into natural wolf colored eyes. It's just my different spin on werewolves, I guess. But so that's kind of why, you know, the overall theme, the overall atmosphere of this picture is sort of red and green. The green to complement Essence and the red to complement the Beastman in this picture. And they're just salivating, insatiable eating machines. So that's the reason why he's just salivating at the teeth and everything, because he's emerging from her back in this picture. I won't tell you how they're created because I'll let the comic tell you how they're created. So yeah, and then down at the bottom where her shadows are, where the shadows are most consistent because I have the light source on top of her back, So at the bottom beneath her, she has all the shadows, and I try and have the red reflect a little bit because the red is the most dominant color because it's there in her blood, it's there in the background, it's overlaying on the Beastman a little bit. So I try and have the red kind of enhance it a little bit, kind of warm up the picture somewhat, kind of add, maybe even add like a threatening atmosphere too. And then I added some like highlighting layers on top of Essence, like where her light source is, which is on top of her spine. And I made it into screen, and then I, changed the opacity and stuff, and I just basically messed around a whole bunch just to make her glow a little bit, just kind of make her stand out a little bit. But that's all I have to talk to you for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will be back next week with another one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!